Hello today and welcome to my podcast. My name is Evangel and thank you all for tuning in. Today I'm going to be talking about content creation and distribution framework and why it is important and things that you should include in your content distribution and creation and distribution framework. Well, this might not be an exhaustive list, but it gives you an idea and gets you started. So it's simple. What is content? Content is everything that you create for your business, for your brand, things you put out on your social media, your website, YouTube, everywhere you put it. So as a business, as a brand, you should have a content framework that basically guides your content creation for your business and for your brand, so that your content is in line with what you are trying to achieve in the market, how you're trying to speak about yourself, how you're trying to position your brand. Content is very important in positioning you as whatever you want to be positioned in the market. It also helps your SEO. We'll talk about that later, maybe on another podcast, but let's just get right to it. So first off is you want to have an objective, right? Your objective could be that you want to position yourself as experts in your industry, right? You need to have that objective. It needs to be clear why you are creating content in the first place, not just that you just want to put things out there. You need to have a reason, an objective for that. Then the next thing is you need to have a purpose, right? Other than your objective, what is the purpose for the creation of this content? What is the end game? What is the purpose? So the purpose for having a content creation framework could be that you want to guide your content creation process and you want to align your strategy, your content strategy with your business strategy, because again, your strategies must be aligned. Your business strategy should be aligned with your social media strategy, your content creation strategy, whatever, so that everybody and every content is on the same page and is speaking in one language. And next thing you want to look at is defining who you are as a business. Like, that needs to be clear. What your vision is, what your mission is, what your values are. These things need to be aligned in your content creation framework, because your content creation framework should be like the constitution in the organization when it relates to your content. Then next thing you want to look at is your brand promise. It's also very important so that people looking at that framework will know that, okay, this is what the brand is trying to achieve. Then next thing is you want to define what it is you have on offer. What is your value proposition? What are you offering your customers, your clients? Then the next thing you want to also look at is your target market in terms of geography, and your target market in terms of industry. The geography is what locations are you going to be targeting, what countries, what regions, what states do you want to be targeting. Then in terms of the industry, you're looking at, is it manufacturing, is it aerospace, is it financial services? That needs to be clear so that it would also help you create content the right way, because you know who your audience are. Then next thing is you want to decide your distribution channel. What's the channel going to be? What's the channel that you're going to use to distribute your content? Your website, your social media? Do you have a content syndication platform? How are you going to distribute your content and wherever you want it to be? Then the next thing you want to decide is your social media presence, right? If you're running an omni-channel strategy or a multi-channel strategy, whatever it is, you need to decide where you are going to be present. Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, that needs to be decided as well. Then the next thing you want to look at are your content types. What are you creating? Are you creating blog posts? Are you creating newsletters? Are you creating videos? Are you creating ebooks? Are you creating checklists? You need to be clear on what you're creating, and also what can inform that content creation type should be your funnel and how you're trying to answer questions that your prospects going to be seeking answers to along the channel, top of funnel, the middle of funnel, like just You need to know what type of content you are creating for each stage of the process, your customer journey from the prospective stage up until when they become a paying customer. Then the next thing you want to look at is your content distribution frequency. How often do you want to put out content across your distribution channels? That is important. Then the next thing you want to look at is the content creation timeline. When you set your distribution frequency, it will take care of the timeline, right? It feeds into that. When you know that, okay, I want to be creating blog posts once every week, you can decide that, okay, if it's going to take me, if I'm creating a 200 word blog post and typically it takes me 3 days to come up with the blog post, it means that if you're going to be posting once every week, let's say you're posting on Wednesday, it means that maybe you need to start creating the content from Friday. So you have Friday, Monday, Tuesday. So by close of business on Tuesday, your content is ready for distribution on Wednesday. Those things needs to be taken into consideration. Then the next thing you also want to look at is your content calendar. Okay, this should not be mistaken to be your social media calendar, right? So the social media calendar is a subset of your content calendar, because your content calendar is basically how you create content across for all your channels for a year or whatever, right? Depending on the timeline or period you want to create content for. Then the next thing that you want to look at also is something I call content pillars. So these are things that will guide you in creating content. Things that, okay, these are things that you need to have in mind that are our rock. That, okay, if we don't know what to post, we need to have a fallback so that, okay, let's consult our content pillars. These are the things that you stand for. These are the things that are at the core of your brand, right? What is it that my brand stands for? How do I want to be positioned in the market? Those kinds of things. Looking at things like your expertise, your culture, those kinds of things. Yeah. The next thing you also want to take into consideration too is hashtags for social media. You want to be using the right hashtag for your post and using the appropriate hashtags depending on what your customers or your prospects are going to be searching. So again, the next thing that you need to do with hashtag is to do a lot of hashtag research, and you need to always, that research needs to be continuous because different hashtags keep on coming up, and you need to make sure that your hashtags are fresh. Then your content ideas is the next thing that you need to look at. How are you going to be coming up with ideas? How are you going to making sure that you always have ideas? You need to look at what your brand is all about, what your business is all about. What are the questions that people will be asking about your business, about your segments, about your company? You need to come up with those questions, then maybe create something that is called content cluster. So if you have one topic should be able to have other topics that you know that, okay, this will be things that you would always have ideas. Look at what your competitors are doing. Look at what is going on in the industry. What is the origin of your industry, your products? What is the future of your product, your industry? Then also you want to look at your website content as well. You know, what kind of content are you going to be putting on your website? Is the content on your website in line with what your brand is all about? Are you clear on that in terms of when people go on your social media and see content, if they come onto your website, does that content align with what the business and the brand is all about? So these are just a few things that you should look at when creating a content creation and distribution framework. I know there might still be a lot of things that you could put into this, but this just gives an idea of things that you can put. Of course, this list is not an exhaustive list, but it gives you a start. So thank you all for listening today. Thank you all for tuning in. Till next time, stay frosty.